Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari. Yashodanandana Rajaganarandana Yashodanandana Rajaganarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari. Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vratikacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Sharabai Charan Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON DBT Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Primarande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Taksurin Miritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Bande Ham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Sri Visakhanvitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusuti Devi Tanamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Gaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the Supremest Human Being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Praya Sabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama-shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, is the king of Vedic literatures. It is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti vachanam pangum langayate grim yatkripa tamaham vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yatkripa tamaham vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class, continuing Canto number 1, chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vyasa. And today is 16. Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Utkantyastru Kalakshasya Ridi Asin Me Shanair Harihi Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Autkantyasru Kalakshasya Ridyasin Me Shanair Harihi Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Utkantyastru Kalashasya Ridyasin Me Shanair Harihi Dhyayatas Sharanam Bhojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Utkantyastru Kalakshasya Ridyasin Me Shanair Harihi
Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam
Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam
Bhava Nirjita Chetasa
Utkantyastru Kalakshasya Ridyasin Me Shanair Harihi Dhyayatas Charanam Bhojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Utkantyastru Kalakshasya Ridyasin Me Shanair Harihi. Dhyayataha. Thus meditating upon Charana Ambhojam, the lotus feet of the localized personality of Godhead. Bhavanirjita, mind transformed in transcendental love for the Lord. Cetasa,
Cetasa,
all mental activities,
all mental activities,
thinking, feeling, and willing.
thinking, feeling, and willing.
Utkantya,
Utkantha,
eagerness.
eagerness.
Astrukala,
Astrukala,
tears rolled down.
slow down.
Akshaya,
Akshaya,
akshasya,
akshasya,
yeah, of the eyes.
the eyes.
Ridi,
Within,
within my heart.
within my heart.
Asit,
Sit,
appeared.
there.
May,
Me,
my.
my,
Shanai,
Sanai,
without delay.
without delay.
Harihi,
Harihi,
the personality of Godhead.
the personality of Godhead.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sridham Prabhupada Ki. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Kindly repeat after me. As soon as I began to meditate
As soon as I began to meditate
upon the lotus feet
upon the lotus feet
of the personality of Godhead,
of the personality of Godhead,
with my mind transformed
with my mind transformed
in transcendental love,
in transcendental love,
tears rolled down my eyes,
tears rolled down my eyes,
and without delay,
and without delay,
the personality of Godhead, the Sri Krishna,
the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna
appeared on the lotus of my heart.
appeared on the lotus of my heart.
Purport. The word bhava is significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, or a liking for the Supreme Lord. And in order to increase that liking, one has to associate with pure devotees of the Lord. The third stage is to practice the prescribed rules and regulations of devotional service. This will dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress in devotional service. When all misgivings and personal deficiencies are removed, there is a standard faith in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. Okay. Hare Krishna. Very well. Special mercy. Mr. Well, I don't need to. Yeah. Very well. So begin again, the second paragraph. When all misgivings and personal deficiencies are removed, everyone gets mercy. There is a standard faith in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. This stage leads to attraction, and after this, there is bhava, or the prior stage of unalloyed love for God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. Being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation, which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasies. The tears from the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. And because Sri Narada Muni, in his previous birth, attained that stage very quickly after his departure from home, it was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord, which he tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material tinge. Translation again. As soon as I began to meditate upon the Lord, or upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. So Narada Muni is sharing with his disciples, Srila Vyasadeva, his personal experience, culminating in uh, actually darshan, say darshan, having darshan, seeing the experiencing the presence of the Lord within. And of course, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains what has been nicely elaborated upon by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, the different levels, the different stages that one needs to go through uh, in order to come to this platform. Prabhupada speaks about the stage of bhava, which is, of course, uh, the just before the final level of experiencing pure love of Krishna, bhava, sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So uh, it's a very great science, which is given to us in details, especially in the Nectar Devotion. Prabhupada gave great emphasis for us to actually read and understand uh, this particular book, Nectar of Devotion. Similar important book written by the same author, Srila Rupa Goswami, is the Nectar of Instruction. Both are extremely important, not only for the beginners in Krishna consciousness, but uh, uh, for all devotees practicing within our ISKCON society, we have devotees who are giving courses on, what's the title of that course? From Shraddha to Prema.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to Prema.
Yes.
They have Prema.
Yes, from
Wow,
Shraddha to Prema. I don't know if the devotee.
that's where they are.
I think it was in the Mayapur Institute, either Mayapur Institute or Vaishnav Institute for Higher Education. That was some years back. I don't know if that course is still being given, but yeah, from Shraddha to Prema. I remember the title of that.
That's good title, but
Yeah,
I
well,
have some questions.
well,
Not because I'm skeptic, but because the system.
yeah,
So giving courses means you accept practically anyone who is just signing into the course.
right.
But as you mentioned, these books contain such a topics which should have a qualified listener, and they are not revered um, just by registration, but on the qualification. And then how you select the listeners, who is qualified not, and who revere and what revere in a group of 10 persons if they have different shraddha, different faith.
And they will. I mean, everyone
Yeah,
is different.
if you just get registration, that is the control, that's
Well,
highly does not our system. So
but we have devotees who take Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti by Bhav.
that's okay. That's have a exact. That's not speaking about prema. It's not giving the prema. It's speaking about the existence of the prema, for example, but not how to say shraddha to prema, which is a promise.
Well, you know, in Bhakti Shastri, uh, part of the course is the nectar of devotion.
For
And
sadhakas.
yes, but in the nectar of devotion, all of the levels are presented by Srila Rupa Goswami from
In
from
such a level which is speaking about to know the goal but not as a practice.
yes, yes. So of course, the the subject matter is the most um, confidential subject matter. Actually, it's the most profound subject matter because it deals with the culmination of one's actual practice of bhakti. Bhakti by practice of bhakti, uh, one is gradually meant to rise to higher levels, which are uh, so. Of course, in our Vedic system, uh, when one is speaking on subject matters that are especially of a confidential nature, one needs to be uh, sensitive to the uh, to one's audience, because, as we know, and that was the main uh, reservations and objections, we could say, that Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas I have uh, with the system of, let's say, modern education, because one just accepts anyone as a student and there isn't that type of very a personal relationship that is meant to be there between the teacher and the student. And uh, as we know in the Vedic culture, uh, the teacher will only speak on certain subject matters uh, if one is actually ready or qualified to uh, understand the subject matter. And of course, the most uh, confidential subject matter uh, is in these uh, aspects that are described in the nectar of devotion. And so I'm sure those who are giving the course will uh, will uh, be sensitive to the to both the audience who is receiving that knowledge and to the subject matter in itself. Of course, we know how such topics were very rarely discussed, even by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, isn't it? Prabhupada explains. Uh, he would only discuss with a very few Sarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, who were the closest associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the subject matters can easily be misunderstood or not properly appreciated. It is it is there, of course, in the literatures of the Goswamis, especially Sri Rupa Goswami deals with the subject, and so at least we should know that these uh, levels are there, and that there is a particular process by which gradually individuals who follow nicely that process can attain these very confidential levels. Ultimately, all of us are aspiring to develop Krishna, and we are getting glimpses. We're getting examples in this particular pastime of Narada Muni. So, of course, yeah, when one speaks on these subject matters, one has to be cautious and uh, uh, um, uh, present the matter in such a way that uh, the experience that we are hearing about, this will be further explained in the next few verses. Not only will Narada uh, have darshan of the Lord, but actually it will be for a very short time, and and the Lord actually will actually speak to him. Yeah, right. Which is these are um, uh, very personal. I mean, Narada Muni is revealing to Vyasadeva, and of course Vyasadeva, this is part of the uh, a subject matter. We have many examples, especially amongst the Goswamis, who were at that level of, they were at the level of prema, actually, the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Uh, so they could write books like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions that actually within a relatively short time after Narada Muni left, after the saintly persons left, within a short time, he actually uh, made quite rapid advancement.
Can I have this question? I read these other books, Krishna Dharma Prabhu's book,
Uh-huh.
and he writes, I don't know what is the basic of his writing, but he says he's not imagining things when he's making novel of these happenings.
Novel?
Means like a
Story, okay.
So, but he mentioned that Narada Muni become older and older, like become an adult, and it's from his writings. I can show you maybe later.
Mhm.
It looks like it's 10 years or more period of time.
Mhm.
So not just a few months, but
Okay.
years after years. He writes that, and maybe that's different because you mentioned uh, uh, scientific discussion or scientific way to approach this topic. That means I think we need to clarify, yeah, as far as possible, what these expressions means. Relative short time, different levels. What does it mean attraction? Because we use that word English, other languages so broadly and not in spiritual topics. So we have so many misunderstandings. If I
Yes.
speak 10 devotees, that levels, they would explain it totally differently or not at all because they have no clue of what these levels are.
Right. Right.
So, and they are initiated devotees, second initiating, they practice devotees, but they didn't get these expressions scientifically. Okay, exactly. No, as for example, in the nectar of devotion is there, but I don't see many devotees studying that nectar of devotion so deeply. Then they are really surely know what that levels means, what that consciousness levels means. Of course, maybe they have difficulties because if they don't reach that level,
Right.
that's hard to understand. Means in this level, big Janus level, understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, mm,
So I would like to ask if you can not necessarily know what is the next level of Vaidhi Bhakti. What does it mean, this kind of first glimpse of attraction or affection? What kind of feelings, what kind of signs are surely there? Which, for example, I can check myself if I am on that level or not yet, and then behave according to that self-checking. Be careful. You are not on that level sometimes.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Feel something, but it's not established consciousness.
Yeah. Well, in the purport, Prabhupada, speaks about uh, this level of attraction, uh, which is all the subject matters that are, you know, being discussed here are above the level of nista, isn't it? So nista, as we know, is a fifth level of advancement in uh, in devotional service, and unless one actually becomes situated on that level, he will not be able to um, factually understand those higher levels. So Nista Prabhupada explains how Nista means becoming, well, he explains in different ways. He mentions how unless one follows very strictly the four rules and regulations, one cannot come to the level of Nista. Nista means actually mode of goodness, uh, where one is having a good, a strong understanding, firm grasp, we could say, of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and is and it doesn't happen just like in a, generally. Generally, it doesn't happen immediately. Over a period of time, one becomes more and more, let's say, fixed on that level of what we call steadiness. This means steadiness, firmly established in steadiness, and then every devotee will experience, uh, according to his continued practice in devotional service, those higher, those four higher levels after nista, isn't it? Uh, and the first level after nista is ruchi. Developing a a taste, a taste for uh, performing devotional activities as opposed to being to perform karmic activities or material activities, a taste for chanting the holy name. So, how many? Everyone has to assess and judge for oneself. Am I actually developing a taste for chanting the holy name? Where am I in terms of that uh, that level? So, to develop a taste for chanting the holy name is uh, is rare. Uh, and Narada Muni is like beyond that. He, um, he's at the level of bhava and prema. So yeah, every uh, theoretically, as devotees, we should know that these levels are there, but we should also be honest to uh, to understand at what level we are situated, and therefore we have to sin overly. I mean, discussing these subject matters, but they are described in the shastra as we're reading now, and we try to appreciate the fact that, well, some individuals um, who have been especially blessed, um, and who have taken it, they've been blessed by the association of, by the opportunity of getting such kind of advanced association, have taken advantage of it, and in course of time have developed and come to the point of uh, this type of very rare experience of actually having darshan of the Lord, and the Lord directly speaking. Um, So these things are there, but we have to be uh, cautious in how we and how we discuss the subject matters. Yeah.
Just one point here that, of course, this story or this self explanation from Narada Muni is not an example, practically how we get uh, from one level to higher level, because it's a general explanation. The main goal of the spiritual practice. Then sampradayas teaching different way, different goal, different ishtadeva. So he's not goes in this level. I mean, but still there's guru disciple relationship. I feel a little bit I'm missing to explain that how important someone's relationship to his own guru, like Shyamananda Pandit was considering everything which happened in a higher level is the blessing of his guru who was against them.
Mm. Yeah.
So still he was saying it's your blessing, Gurudev, and it was.
Right.
So this guru disciple relationship I think is not really, again, not really scientifically understood or realized most of the time.
Well, the
At least I'm missing it.
the subject matter guru disciple relationship is a very important subject matter and very many aspects to that. Um, sometimes we have disciples who will develop, just like in the case of uh, Ramachandra, who developed a great attachment for Narottam Das Thakur, but he was initiated by Sanatana Goswami. So um, we cannot legislate the subject matter of relationships. What we need to understand, of course, is that relationship is central and most essential in terms of our practice of bhakti. In other words, and this is not so easy. We need to, in order to succeed or to advance in Krishna consciousness, we need to develop or awaken this whole aspect of relationship, because bhakti means relationship, and that is also the beginning of the foundation and the beginning of our practice of bhakti. Bhakti is directly related with relationship. I mean, sambandha, isn't it? The whole science sambandha of relationship leads one to further activities or further levels. From sambandha, we come to the level of actually executing or practicing devotional service. So how this relationship, it's not only one relationship, we have opportunity, for example, every day to have relationships with whoever we come in contact with, devotees. We're meant to establish relationships, healthy relationships amongst ourselves as devotees, and we will also naturally be inclined to establish more deep relationships with certain Vaishnavas, which is natural. There's a basic relationship that is meant to be established between the disciple and the spiritual master. And there are similar relationships that a disciple can also establish and with devotees in general. And in many ways, uh, unless we are successful in establishing such healthy relationships, then it makes it difficult for us to advance in Krishna consciousness. Um, and ultimately, this affects how we eventually can establish or re-establish our relationship with Krishna. In other words, we every day Krishna is giving us opportunities to to interact, to establish relationships, which which will affect on the long run how well and how quickly we can reestablish our original and lost relationship with Krishna. Um, the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas in general, all Vaishnavas, by us coming in contact with, because Vaishnavas are very, very unique, very special. How many Vaishnavas are there in the world? It's very few, very, very small percentage. And it's only by interacting with Vaishnavas that we can begin to understand this whole science of bhakti, isn't it? And relationship, which is very elaborately described in the literatures of the Goswamis, especially. That was that that is their special contribution as as requested by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to extract the essence. And there's no, practically speaking, no comparison to such literatures which deal, isn't it? I mean, we as Vaishnavas, uh, we, uh, we specialize, we specialize in this whole science of bhakti, which begins actually with relationships. So that means that if we are not able to establish at least even like healthy relationships amongst ourselves as devotees, then this will affect our ability to actually execute or practice devotional service. So everything actually begins and depends on this whole aspect of sambandha, which in our society, which is like a very large society, and um, not so easy to actually uh, establish such relationships. But at least we should know that it begins, the whole science of bhakti or devotional service, the execution of bhakti and devotional service is intimately connected with this whole aspect of sambandha or relationship, how well we are to interact. And that's nicely explained, of course, in the Nectar of Instruction, for example, where Sri Rupa Goswami explains how very important for devotees to reveal their mind, isn't it, amongst themselves, which is not easy. Which is not easy.
No, to give foreshadowings.
Yeah, right.
Quite simple, but the real, the mind, the heart.
Yeah. So that is these are very.
And accept if someone really ready to reveal and not easy to accept.
Yeah,
And we have
yeah.
to go to psychologist. But
I mean, it's much easier not to reveal,
yeah, looks like.
but then, yeah.
That is the strong basement of the really Vaishnava relationship.
So that's why the what we call the basics in Krishna consciousness, which basics means sadhana, isn't it? And for the vast majority of all of us, sadhana is essential. And this Prabhupada explains, if one faithfully, regularly, attentively, the more one executes the this aspect of sadhana, as explained in the Nectar of Devotion, then slowly, gradually, the other levels will unfold gradually. Yeah. So it's very important for all of us to understand the importance of sadhana, and the more we are, strong in our sadhana, then we can expect to, in due course of time, rise to higher levels. Otherwise, not. Yeah.
Just one verse about the meaning of sadhana. It's not a mechanical practice. I
Yeah.
remember I counted X
Yeah.
number of chanting, but sadhana are really, really deeply related to the goal of the individual. And if the practice are really fitting to reach the goal for himself, it could be similar what we do, but individually different.
Yes.
And if we don't have this relationship between our between ourselves, in ourselves, between the what we do and what we want to reach, that's hard to see, not sadhana.
It's a disconnect.
It's just a disconnect.
Right.
And that means I do whatever looks like a practice, but it's not exactly sadhana for me
Yeah.
to get the goal in a limited time or a reasonable time.
Yeah. Yes. The
And we are
danger.
lacking teachers for that.
Hmm?
Lacking teachers,
Yeah.
devotee who teach that
Okay. Right.
science. What does it mean sadhana?
Right. Yes. There's a difference between artificial, inattentive practice,
Yeah.
which externally might seem like, okay, he's there every morning for the Mangalarti. He seems to be chanting 16 rounds, but what is the quality and yeah,
Yeah.
there needs to be a quality to that. Yeah. Hare Krishna, welcome.
So much.
Any comments or questions from our illustrious audience?
I feel that maybe I caused this
Huh?
silence just to take so much attention. So sorry. Please, just tell whatever you don't consider me because I feel speak so much and then you are.
My God, wow. First time I see his hand up. Bolo? Okay, that's good. through a translator. Yes.
He's asking, Narad Muni got serious in Krishna consciousness at such a young age.
Narada Muni got such opportunity at such a young age.
Like he got serious in devotional sense.
He got serious, okay, at such a young
So,
age, yes.
when will we get that seriousness?
When will we get that seriousness? One devotee was asking in Australia at the end of a lecture, when can we develop Krishna consciousness? How long does it take to actually become Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada immediately replied, 1 second. It can take only just 1 second because it all depends on our determination, on our becoming, on our intentionally wanting to become, nobody else can become serious for us. We have to make that decision. We have to make that commitment. So it's not a question of age. Narada Muni was an exceptional personality. I mean, he was well disposed because of some previous pious activities that he performed even before that life as a young boy, the young boy of a maidservant. And so it is very much dependent on each individual to make that individual commitment. Actually, yeah. Of course, so many activities that are recommended in the Shastra will help us, but ultimately, each individual has to conscientiously, in other words, it's up to each individual to actually take that type of decision to become more serious. Sometimes, many times, if not most of the time, we only become more serious when some kind of calamity happens. When something very tragic happens, then okay, it's like internally we take a vow or become more serious. But we don't have to wait for major calamities to happen. If we are more attentive in what we are hearing from Shastra, if we are more attentive in performing all our daily activities, then we will tend to become more serious more quickly.
So you mean that we have this original capacity to become serious, like
Yes.
in any time,
Yes.
just we have to
Yes.
do.
It's like all of us, it's like that that is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bhakti Nitya Siddha Sadhya Kabunoi Sravanadi Sutachite Kora Udoy. In other words, within each and every one of us, we have the possibility of developing Krishna Bhakti because that is natural to all of us. So we have the ability to become serious like Narada Muni. It is there within our reach, and nobody else can do that except ourselves, because we are individuals, and therefore, um, just like we see sometimes, devotees will say, "Oh, until I read this particular instruction, until I read this particular narration, uh, I was not understanding, or I was not so serious in my practice of devotional service." So definitely being more attentive, endeavoring to be more attentive in what we are doing, will help us gradually to become more serious. Very good. Yeah. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Miki, Jai Sri Prabhupada Ki, Gaura Pimanandi.